NBA Fantasy Power Rankings Week 17. LeBron James surges to number 1. RotoWire highlights the top performers heading into Week 17 of Fantasy Hoops. What's up, NBA fans? Welcome back to the channel. If you're an NBA Fantasy Hoops player, you know how crucial it is to stay on top of the latest rankings, especially with the fantasy playoffs just around the corner. And guess what? The Week 17 Fantasy Power Rankings are here, and we've got some big moves including a surge at the top. So, let's dive into the top performers heading into Week 17 and break down all the action. Alright folks, we've got a new number 1 in the rankings, LeBron James. That's right, King James is now leading the charge after an absolutely dominant week. Despite missing the Lakers' final game against Indiana, LeBron showed why he's one of the greatest to ever do it, averaging 66.3 fantasy points per game last week. LeBron played in 2 games, but they were massive ones. He posted 34 points, 12.5 rebounds, 8.5 assists, and 2 steals per game, while shooting an incredible 57.9% from the field, 61.5% from 3. And let's not forget his 42-point, 17-rebound performance against Golden State, which was a new season high for him in both categories. LeBron is absolutely on fire, especially with the Lakers' big trade involving Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis being shipped out. He's taking center stage right now, and it's paying off for fantasy owners. Coming in at number 2 is the reigning MVP Nikola Jokic. Now, Jokic may have lost the top spot, but he was still a beast last week. The Denver Nuggets went 4-0, and Jokic was a huge part of it. He averaged 61.5 fantasy points per game, recording a double-double in every game, including 2 triple-doubles. He ended the week with averages of 29.8 points, 10.8 rebounds, 10.3 assists and 1 steal per game. On top of that, he was shooting an insane 65.7% from the field and 40.9% from 3. So, even though he slipped down 1 spot, he's still performing like an MVP. At number 3 we've got the up-and-coming star, Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons. Cunningham was a monster last week, averaging 58.7 fantasy points per game despite missing 1 game due to an ankle injury. In the 3 games he did play, he put up an incredible 34 points per game. And on Sunday in his return, he delivered a 19-point, 12-assist, 10-rebound triple-double. That's 8 triple-doubles this season for Cade. If you've got him in fantasy, you're loving these performances. Coming in at number 4 is Damian Lillard from the Milwaukee Bucks. Lillard benefited greatly from the absence of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who missed some time due to a calf injury. Lillard played in 3 games, averaging 55.7 fantasy points per game. He had a season-high 43 points in a win over the Sixers, adding 8 assists and 7 rebounds. Lillard's been putting up some serious numbers, and he's a must-have for any fantasy team right now. Rounding out the top 5, it's Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Edwards averaged 54.3 fantasy points per game last week and was on fire in the games he played. Despite missing the final game of the week due to a hip injury, he still put up big numbers, including 45 points over his last 2 games. He also added 8 rebounds and 4.5 assists during that stretch, proving once again that he's a fantasy force. Now let's look ahead to Week 17. Here are some of the top fantasy point producers who'll be playing at least 2 games next week, and they're facing off against fewer than 2 top 10 defenses, so expect some big numbers. Nikola Jokic, 64.5 FP/G. The Nuggets are taking on Portland, twice. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 54.1 FP/G. The Thunder will face off against New Orleans, Miami and Minnesota. Luka Doncic, 53.7 FP/G. Luka's got games against Utah and Utah again. Domantas Sabonis, 47.2 FP/G. The Kings face off against Dallas and New Orleans. Zion Williamson, 44.6 FP/G. The Pelicans will meet OKC, Sacramento and Sacramento again. These guys are all ready to explode, so make sure to get them in your lineups. And that wraps up our Week 17 Fantasy Power Rankings. As always, stay tuned to the channel for more updates and fantasy tips to help you crush your league. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments who you think should be ranked higher, or if there's a player you're eyeing for your fantasy team in Week 17. Until next time, good luck in your matchups, and I'll see you in the next video.